think we can all agree that buildings are pretty safe, right? It's not like you bat an eye when you walk into your local Tesco's, or like these people happily strolling through an airport. No one expects the walls to suddenly collapse. But how exactly did we get here? When the first civilizations were being built, did they know how to make buildings safe? Were there just these intrinsic rules that everyone just knew? Or maybe it was the aliens? The more likely answer starts in 1984. With the Building Act, created by the UK Parliament to bring together and modernise the laws around building regulation. Before then, building control in England and Wales was a patchwork of older laws, local bylaws and regulations spanning all the way back to the 1930s. Rules could differ from one authority to another. This Act is the first step into getting us towards safe buildings. However, at the end of the day, an Act is just a piece of paper that has a rule on it. Buildings must be safe for all the people inside and around them. It doesn't really tell you how to do that. For that, you need regulations. And while there has been many since 1984, the most recent consolidations are the Building Regulations of 2010. These tell you what to consider when making your building safe. The legal requirements that lay down the minimum standards for the design. But again, they don't really define how you meet these considerations. Which brings us to the next step in the chain, the approved documents. Ooh, wow. These were brought in with the Building Act in 1984, and they basically make up the playbook of what compliance looks like in safe buildings. Split into 16 sections, as you can see behind me, A all the way through to S. A is for structure, F is for ventilation, Q is for security, and if you work in passive fire protection, you probably have heard of B, which is for fire safety. They could have done a little bit better with the naming. I mean, Q for security. Why is S not for security? These documents cover pretty generic types of buildings like residentials. For more complicated buildings like hospitals or massive shopping centres, you'd look at more niche standards like BS 9999, the British standard for fire safety in the design, management and use of buildings. The approved documents will try to tell you how to do something, but because building safety is just so broad, it is quite hard to get the exact answer for every niche situation. Instead, if they can't give you a direct answer, they'll give you a reference to a place where you can find one. This might be to go check out another document, like the ASFP colour books. Other sources are available, but look at my shirt, of course I'm going to say that. Now, while this is all great, the sad truth is that greed can get in the way of progress. Corners have been cut in perhaps what could be the worst place to cut corners, safety. Which brings us to the latest act in this series, the Building Safety Act of 2022. A new piece of legislation brought in to make sure that people are actually doing everything that we discussed in this video and making sure that they're doing it the right way. We've done a whole other video on this topic, so now that this video is done, you can go check that one out and see how this story ends.